against what the opposition has said and has clearly misunderstood. First, I quote from the previous speaker, history happened. Yes, history happened, history is being made. But let me make it aware that history happened has affected people in many different ways. The history that happened at the time was a history of nationalistic views and propaganda. These people that are fighting today are fighting because history was written wrongly at the time with different ideas and different views, and it was used as a means of imperialism at the time. So, if we correct the way history is being written and give it a more objective view, I hope that the history that will happen will create better people that understand each other a lot better in a region that has been so greatly, so misunderstood and needs finally to cooperate and not fight wars between each other. Second, history is viewed from many different ways. It is one truth, but with many different optical angles. When, as they also mentioned, the Greeks went on and fought Turkey, we learned in history class that the Turks just got pissed and went off and burned Smyrna. It would be great for a Greek student to actually see why the Turks went about burning Smyrna, because what we don't have afterwards is labeling. We don't want to make the Turks look like some evil people that just like burning Greek stuff around. We want the Greek person to see that we are objective and that they burned it down because we did attack them for reasons, blah, 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 for completely different other reasons. So people have to know what really happened. And when they do really know what happens, that is when they'll be able to make a more precise decision. Oh, thank you. Now, so basically what the proposition is, the opposition is proposing is that you have something broken. Leave it broken because it's been working kind of lately. It's getting a little better. It's kind of like having a leaking pipe. It leaks slowly. You don't really feel it at all. But before you know it, you have a flooded room, which at that moment will have to be corrected. Why don't we just take a preventive measure and correct that problem now that we don't have that flooded room? Now leading on to my conclusions. We have more or less summarized the debate, the proposition, to two major questions, two major simple questions. The why question, why we propose, for one, history for the whole of the Balkan region, and two, what would the outcome be of this book? First, why? We are talking about more or less the same people with the same cultures, more or less, with very many common traditions and one common religion. I'm not going to get into great historical facts, but I would like to remind people that it was when the Balkans were conquered by the Turks, the Turkish taxonomy system for 500 years split up the region in two ways. And that was not Greeks, Serbs, Files, and whatever. It was the Christians and the Muslims. And that worked for 500 years. These people lived for 500 years together without having problems. And we can see that because they did join together to fight off the Turks later on. So in 500 years, which is half a thousand years, these people made something that continues to be broken today. We could understand each other then. Why can't we understand each other now? For the same reason I mentioned, of propaganda and history. Second, the only reason they don't get along is because of history. So since history is the problem, let's fix it. Now, let's move on to what... Go ahead.
And what about the War of the Balkan Wars?
The Balkan Wars were... The first one was to fight off Turkey, which I mentioned. And then the second one was to correct the problem that happened between Bulgaria, a small issue. It was not a great fight between the Balkan people. It was a war fought in the Balkan region, which will be incorporated into this great book we're going to be making. Second, what would the outcome be? Many problems derived from historical differences will be ironed out completely. No little tacks in the shirt. People will understand why the Serbs did this, why the Croats did this, why the Albanians did this, understand how these people came to be, and understand that the region they live in, the Balkans, is not just a chain of mountains, but is a chain of history, of people linked one to another, and their actions which make up the problems that are made today. That is only when they'll be able to see the truth. Second, unity in an area is of great importance. When you have unity, you've got cooperation. When you have cooperation, you have happy people. Happy people tend to work a lot better than not happy people. So, I could say that if we do have this great book that will provide unity, we will see greater stimulation in cooperation in things as economics, as even militaristic ideas, or even socially. People will not be racist, because when you feel as one, you are not a racist. Second,
Understanding the differences does not create problems. It creates respect. And when everybody respects each other, you have unity. Only when you respect each other, you know why you are different, are you unified. Second, we really, really want to kill off the propaganda that happened many years ago. That's a problem that has to be fixed. And it's very, very sad that students that live in countries like Fyron, which are still back at that time, are being taught historical facts like this and are having problems today to incorporate into this world. So what do we propose? A common history for a common people that come from a common land, which have already fought each other for way, way, way too long to be continuing to fight each other. And it is time for us to realize that we are the same people, and we are the same people in the same history, and we belong in the same history book. Thank you very much.
Thank the speaker very much. And now